Malaysia has become a new dumping ground for plastic waste from New Zealand and other countries. New Zealand's plastic waste exports to Malaysia have tripled in the first 6 months of this year after China banned waste imports. And while the number of waste recycling factories has mushroomed in the Asian nation, is the plastic that we're offloading really being dealt with properly when it gets there? And should New Zealand be offloading its plastic on countries struggling to deal with their own? Nita Blake-Person travelled to Malaysia to investigate.
Hidden within the trees of this palm oil plantation in Jenjerom, a town about an hour's drive from Kuala Lumpur, is a huge mountain of plastic. Car parts, food packaging, cleaning products and old toys are in piles several metres deep, sprawling across a huge clearing. A local resident, CK Lee, says most of the plastic is from Europe, but some is from Australia and has been exported here to be recycled.
This is the storage space for that illegal factory, which has been shut down by enforcement. And I believe this is actually agricultural land, and they just use it as a store yard.
CK Lee says business has been booming for illegal processing factories since China's ban on plastic imports came into effect at the start of this year. Malaysia is now the new destination for the waste from many countries, including Australia and New Zealand. But it's not always being dealt with properly when it gets there.
This pile of rubbish has got a mixture of all sorts of rubbish, and these illegal factories would just pick and choose what they want and process them. And those that they don't want, they just burn them, burn them openly. And just a shame,
In July, authorities discovered that of 38 factories they visited in Selangor, the state this factory is in, only 3 had licences. Many of the plastics the illegal factories process are filthy and contaminated, and the water used to wash them is dumped into nearby rivers and waterways. Plastic that the factories can't recycle is often burned, which is having a terrible impact on the health of those living nearby. Sandra Murray is a waste management consultant who works with councils and businesses here in New Zealand. She says it's very difficult for them to verify where their plastic actually ends up.
Most councils are one waste officer who may not even be full-time doing waste. They might also do roading, they might do the 3 waters as well as waste. They're not resourced to do that kind of downstream checking, and they probably just at the time of procurement of a contract, when they go out to tender for a waste contract, they might ask the companies to give that information, but it would very quickly be out of date because even from month to month end markets change.
Smart Environmental, the country's 3rd largest recycler, is running out of space for the plastic it collects and sorts from 16 councils in the Upper North Island. The company's Central Region Manager, Lane Sefton, says while grades 1 and 2 can be recycled in New Zealand, the rest of the plastic needs to be shipped overseas.
People think that once it's gone into the recycling bin, they can feel good, I'm a recycler, but really at the end of the day, a lot of the stuff that they put into the bins is not recyclable. There's no value in it, and very much is out of sight, out of mind.
Mr Sefton says the New Zealand recycling industry is in crisis, with businesses unable to recoup the costs of collecting and sorting the plastics. He wants the government to come up with a comprehensive plan for dealing with the country's waste and says it needs to happen urgently to stop New Zealand's plastic problem getting out of control. The Conservation Minister, Eugenie Sage, says the government is currently reviewing the impact of China's waste ban and is looking at what is happening to New Zealand's recycling exports. A report is expected to be presented to her next month. Mō te hōtaka o te ahiahi nei, ko Nita Blake-Person, aho.
At 10 minutes to 6, you can actually watch and listen back at Nita's report there on our Facebook page, on our website rnz.co.nz. There's pictures to go with that. And of course, you can hear more about New Zealand's plastic exports to Malaysia on Insight after the 8 o'clock news on Sunday morning.